right, so today's video, we are back with another Quickplay Warrior where we watch a Quickplay player, guess their rank, watch their rank game, guess it again, and see if we're correct and all that. It's always fun to watch. So for this player, the hour differential is 936 hours of unranked and 93 hours of ranked. And the background here they say is first, thanks for all the content. I am primarily a Counter-Strike player where I hover around 23K, despite the fact I can't aim in Premiere. Okay, I think that's good. I mostly play Overwatch with the homies, except when I need ego validation, often backfiring. I'm always looking to get better, because otherwise, why play? Well, teach your own. Everybody's different with that. Your Quickplay match is the first one here, and this one says, this Quickplay game has it all. Me on Onron, an angry Farah, missed shots, and snacking on a small bag of chili cheese Fritos. Okay, this is quite the combination here. Let's see what happens. Chili cheese Fritos. Okay, watch some of this on-run gameplay. Remember, it's more of an on-run play style. That's how it works. Okay, here we go. Yep. I mean, you're going the right way, so pathing's good. Oop, there you go. Hi, buddy. Okay, yeah, so far, exactly what you want to do. Nothing too tough here. All right. I got to pause. Unfortunately, more fortunately, Sully's here to say hi, so got to say hi to my cat here. When Sully wants his pets, Sully wants his pets. You know? Okay, here we go. Obviously, like, this being in 6v6 is, you know, it's... I think in 6v6, Onron probably will have a little bit more, like, wiggle room. I just feel like, in general, 6v6 will always open up more opportunity. Not even necessarily opportunity, but, like, more like you can kind of go unnoticed more in team fights. I guess that makes sense. Technically, I actually think in... People always ask me, like, hey, what's the difference between, like, 5v5, 6v6? And one thing I say is, like, the DPS experience can differ a little bit because you have to kind of... There isn't as much... There's less space to work with sometimes, so... But so far, you're doing everything right. I mean, you're going for flanks. I mean, I would like to see you be a bit more active on your left clicks when you're on that left side, but... You're doing fine. Remember to have one cooldown to save. You're doing that mainly. You stayed there for a little bit longer than you should have, but... So far, I can't even, like, go off of anything yet. Right here, I would try to set up for an ultimate. Uh-oh. Yep, all your cooldowns. Now, what you... Okay, I mean, honestly, so far, you've done everything right. For the most part. Obviously, there's some small plays you can do here, but what I mean by doing everything right, so people can understand, that play to be just basically disengage with the one shift has been something I've been very adamant about with Onron, of like, as long as you keep one movement ability to get away, you're probably going to be in a good spot. And that was a perfect case of that. Goes in, does a bunch of damage, pops some cooldowns, gets out, and now back into the team fight. Uptime is so key in Overwatch. So, like, being able to stay alive as Onron can be really key, although this is kind of a interesting way to go about. Yeah, I feel like that would have been one of those situations where wouldn't it be, at least in my opinion, like, yes, they ended up popping all their ultimates, but that could have been a great situation just to pop your ultimate in there and make a play. Force out maybe, like, you know, even their Farah ultimate, get rid of their ult pool, you know, but either way, actually, I'm surprised you kind of took that path, though. I feel like you would have been a little bit better just going for a more aggressive approach of a play there. So far, so good. Again, I don't really have, like, you know, hasn't been too bad. I'd be careful of... Okay, you can ult this then. Yeah, that's gonna be a good ult, I think. And then try to get out. Yeah, that was the only downside is you committed most of your cooldown. So remember how earlier I mentioned that, like, I love the idea that you did that. You changed up your gameplay a little bit based off of that, like managing your cooldowns. That was one of those sequences where I feel like you could have done a better job of managing your cooldown. I've also done this with Onron, where, like, the ultimate is a good play, but I don't think about my cooldown, so I don't have an escape out. So if you escape out there, I think that goes much better. But that was a good idea of an ult timing. It's gonna be a hard one to predict, I feel like, because I think you're doing a good job. But with you being on Onron, I can't tell yet, because it's just such a newer hero that what I would look for normally, like, say if I was watching, like, a Tracer, might be a little bit different right now. So you are doing the right idea, though, of taking these flanks. Yeah. That's why I did the other perk. Yeah, well, We can, you know what, since we're in an Iron aspect of this video and I can't, even go too much into the rank yet, I feel like the perk discussion there is very interesting one for Onron because, yeah, I agree with you that the survivability combo on both like the minor and the major perk can be really key for Onron. But I think it also depends on playstyle, right? Like, so if I plan on being a little bit more proactive in team fights, I don't mind the extra 1.5 second one. And like, the way I envision the 1.5 second one is not the extra damage, but can someone correct me if I'm wrong here? The extra 1.5 seconds means that I have an extra 1.5 seconds to keep reapplying the tick over time. Is that correct, if I understand this? As in, like, if they have an extra 1.5 seconds of damage on them, that gives me an extra 1.5 seconds to work with to be able to keep that reapplied on them, right? If I'm right? So, like, I think sometimes if I feel like I'm going to be really proactive in their backline, I prefer having that extra extension there on that one. But I think the safe combo of like when you get your ultimate, you can have a much more valuable ultimate because you have more survivability. So I think they've done a good job with the choice of the perks there. But again, is it enough to be like a full impactful perk? I don't know the answer to that one. Because one, like I said, one gives you a little bit more uptime, but will it be enough uptime to like be worth taking it over the extra HP? And is it worth taking a perk that is only relying on your ultimate, right? So it's a good. They've done a good job of giving you some choice on perks. The question is, are those perks impactful enough to begin with? Most people will probably say yes, but it is a good question to, I think, ask sometimes with those. At least in my opinion, I think it's a good question to ask sometimes. So, yeah. Does the Mauga burn stack with Onron? Yeah, I mean, Mauga, all that is benefited in some way, yes. So, which is nice to have, like an Asher or a Mauga. Okay, cool. Anyway. Yep. Okay. Yep. Again, I feel like it's a bit ambitious. Why not go for the kills in front of you rather than try to just go to the point after that ultimate? I really liked your cooldown management at the beginning, and now I feel like your cooldown management is definitely a little bit more active than I expected it to be. So we'll see. We'll see. Yep. All right. Okay. Well, that was certainly something. Yeah. It feels like the first half of the game, you did exactly what you wanted to do, right? You wanted to go on angles. You wanted to make some plays. You wanted to be effective in that way, right? Now it feels like you've done the opposite. You started focusing on just kind of getting into the team fight and spamming your cooldowns. So the first half of this was very effective. You were playing that hide-and-seek play style that I think Onron is... at times can feel frustrating because like you want to be more involved in team fights, but it's also some of the more optimal play. And then you went into, okay, now I'm going to spam my cooldowns, and it had the exact opposite. So mechanics seem fine. Decision-making, that's a different story. But thankfully, now you're on Cassidy, not because your Onron was necessarily bad, but I can get a little bit more of an idea of maybe where this is going to be, right? So we'll see. I see you're also a connoisseur of the spam in the middle, the spam in your scroll wheel.
That's almost a year.
Also, they did say they play Counter-Strike. This is something that you do a lot of the time, too, in Counter-Strike, where you, like, you have your inspect and stuff, and you're just hitting buttons. So. All right, anyway, back to Cassidy. So you're taking the high ground, like it. No one saw the missed shots on the pylon. That's just being patient. I've missed that before. It's one of those things where you think you're going to hit the shot, then you start shooting, and you go, uh-oh. Okay, one thing I do want to say is I would like to see you... Okay, so I like you taking the high ground, but I also want you to think of effective range. I think you're in fall-off range right now, so I would like to see you just push up. There's no reason not to. Like, they're not really engaging you. Now, again, it's a little bit of a note. Like, say you're playing against an Echo or a Pharah. If you get too close here, you might like, just burst up on you and get a kill. But I would take that chance. But I would play, like, more like here. Just push up a little bit. You're out of effective range, so, like, you're missing out on a lot of damage. Like fall-off damage is pretty big in Overwatch, and it's one of the balance points they usually do with Cassidy whenever they have to figure out, like, how to make Cassidy better. Right now, you're just a little bit out of that range. I forgot what the fall-off range is now, but one thing you can always do, if anybody doesn't know this now in Overwatch, you can hit F1, and it will show you all of your damage numbers now and, like, what they do. So it will also show you what the fall-off range is. Nice shot, by the way. See how you're more effective now being in range? Nice shots. Even though you missed the last couple shots, let's be honest, the Yari is not the easiest hitbox to hit, so that was well played. So, yeah, aim's looking good. But yes, you can do that, and then all you need to do is, if you, like, say it says 25 meters, all you need to do is hit your middle mouse button occasionally on a target, and it gives you an idea of what your range is. So, because the range will show up on your screen. Yeah, flourishes are for mythics, yes. All right, you're doing fine here. Said aim's looking fine, you know. Good high noon. Could have waited an extra second, but I also don't understand why you don't. Because, like, I just feel like whenever I wait that long, it just doesn't go as well. Aim's looking good. Aim is not going to be your issue, by the way. Aim's fine. Like, obviously, like, you know, shots on a Yari might be a little bit more tough, but I don't mind this. Going with the Peacekeeper one. A little bit of a note, some people forget this, but your roll does reset your Peacekeeper, like, right-click. So say you want to go for a double right-click shot, you can technically roll and then do it again on your right-click. See, kind of like right there. So a little bit of a tech if, like, you're kind of going for a long-range kill on something and you want to make that play. I'll answer that question in a second, Hattori. Nice kill. This whole gameplay loop out of you has been solid, by the way. You've been playing in good spots. You're not like over pushing. You're not being too hyper aggro. Like, truthfully, you're playing fairly well, I would say. Aim's looking good. You're hitting a lot of your shots. Any of the shots that you miss are like on tougher hitboxes. Like, yeah, this has been a much better go. And I'm glad I got to see a little bit of your Cassidy gameplay, because I feel like if it was purely the Einron gameplay, it would have been tough to kind of call. But I already feel like your rank is probably going to be in a pretty good spot, is my guess. We'll see, though.
Serve by design.
Oh, damn. Sorry, that must have been rough for anything. Holy crap. Good high noon. This was great. Chad, this was really solid positioning. Nice 20-player kill streak there. Probably feels good to have a much better round. You guess in mid to high plat. Okay. Okay. I usually wait till at the end of these before I guess them. All right, taking the high ground. No one's there. You heard the sound. There's the Pharah. So, yeah. I mean, you're taking the right pathing. You're going to the right spots. You're thinking about high ground positioning. Like, obviously, it is in 6v6 quick play, so I am trying to learn a little bit about how that's going to play. Oh, backing away. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're rotating around the map. You're maintaining positioning. Nice shots. Yeah. Correct play. Don't over peek. Wait for your team. You already have 2 kills. Now you start to peek a little bit. Yeah. So far, so good. Got a new cat. I love to hear that. I love cats. Yeah, I mean, like, the only thing I could say is maybe try not to go as AFK there. But even, like, I do that sometimes if I need to wait. I would actually wide swing with your team now, yeah. You did a good job of maintaining that high ground, but at a certain point, it's not worth just, like, having your teammates have to constantly look at you the whole time. Like, why not just, like, take advantage of, you know, their team being a little bit split, that you got to pick early. So, good rotation there. Sometimes I think that's something that people forget is, like, and I talk about this sometimes, and it's actually just good advice in general for Overwatch. Maintaining the spot is really good, right? Like taking a high ground. But if your teammate is starting to win the team fight, why not just go push up with them, clean up the rest of the kills to like kind of guarantee that team fight win and like stay as a core, and then reset back to that position again. I think sometimes I talk about getting to those spots, but I don't talk about the next step of like, okay, your team got a pick. Well, now go take advantage of that, right? So yeah. That's how I would say to kind of approach that a little bit more. So you made the right rotation. Might have been even a second too late. But that is a good way to go about that, yeah. I just want to point that out of like, don't be afraid to rotate after you, like, even if you have a really good spot, if your team gets a kill, it's okay to rotate off of that spot because now you have a numbers advantage. The only like caveat to that is, let's say like you know, you're denying the space of like a really important hero up there and you don't want to give an Yari like map control over there, then like that's fine, right? Like if they're battling for it. But if no one's battling for it, or like there's only one person there and you can take like a, you know, a 2-person advantage on the other team, like, you know, why not run with that, right? So, but yeah, you end up resetting back here, which again, I think is the correct play. I think like playing up here with the Peacekeeper perk. For anybody wondering what the Peacekeeper perk is, I think that's what it's called, is basically the one where you can right-click in and get a silver, oh, it's Silver Bullet actually. I call it Peacekeeper because you get rid of it. It's called Silver Bullet, and it basically makes it so your right-click is only one shot. but like it's like a zoomed in shot that gives you more effective range. So I do like what you're doing. Again, denying the space from the para. So yeah, you said it's the same. No one's gone for him. Well, I mean that's why like positioning can be really key sometimes. Now obviously this is a quick play, so you know maybe in ranked you get a little bit more pushback up here. But I've also seen ranked games where there's no pushback here. And the reason why this spot's so strong is like even in a situation here where it looks like their team has a bit of an advantage, you've been able to kind of like make it annoying on the rest of their team. I mean, look what you've done. Their soldier can't push the point. Your teammates are getting a pick. They're worried about you, and that space creation alone might give you opportunity, right? Obviously, the Pharah does make a good flank on you, which is totally fine. But again, I feel like you might have bought your team an extra, I don't know, 10% there by just making that play. So yeah, very well played right there. Thank you. Damn it, Jeff. Okay. Still waiting. Soldier has the high ground now, so you can kind of see the effectiveness of what that high ground does. I do like that you're kind of looking up there to try to deny that space a little bit. This is a tough one. I would say get the health pack, which isn't there anymore. That's sad. There it is. I actually love you shooting the shot. So one thing right there, chat, is like, sometimes, including myself, will kind of hold the high noon for too long. If your high noon's locked in... Ooh, nice nano by your team. You might even get the kill there, yeah. If your, like, nano is locked in on somebody, but you can't get the kill, why not get, like, do 70% damage to follow up on the kill? I think sometimes people don't do that, and you kind of give up a free kill. So, throw a Hinda here. Perfect. Love that you did that. Easy decision. That's called that you thought you were gonna hit all your shots and then you miss all your shots. Been there, done that. Yeah, I mean, I gotta be real. Like, I feel like you have a lot of even the basics down from what I've seen. Straight up. So there you go. So that's the quick play version. I'm gonna aim high, but I'm not gonna aim too high. I'm gonna go with like Diamond 2. I think like somewhere in between there right now is a good starting spot to where like the lack of playing ranked might have their rank be a little bit lower. But the mechanics and the decision-making are definitely in that diamond to master's range, if not higher, believe it or not. So there was a lot of good that I saw there. And I think that's very important going into this next part of seeing that. I think that was extremely important. So we'll see how the next part of this goes. So this one here says, by the way, this comp game has it all. A room I have a strange forbidden fascination with. More missed shots, an invisible Lucio, and even a Wrecking Ball. Hey, Wrecking Ball's pretty good in 6v6. Because, like, again, like, you don't have as much pressure on you, so people don't look at you as much. Granted, though, you can be punished more if they, like, stun you. All right. Again, aim's looking great. I mean, I know you said that, like, you don't... You know, your aim isn't as good, but, you know, your aim's solid. Your aim's good. You might do that thing that I do sometimes. Yep, this must be the forbidden room you were talking about. Yeah, this part of the... I'll be honest with you, like, if you want me to give you kind of the feedback here, you want to control this part of the map right here rather than drop down here right now. I made this mistake actually in a 66 game last week on tank. I kept going to this spot. What you actually want to do is you want to, if you can, just keep rotating this way. Because, like, eventually, if you deny this space, you're going to have such a good off angle on their team that you can get kills. But when you drop down here... There's no escape for you here, right? Like, if you play a Genji, you can drop down here and, you know, go up here and do all of this, right? Or any hero with mobility. I think even Emre might be able to, like, you know, like, Emre can take out that pistol and then go up. Like, I think you might be able to go up here. But, like, if your hero can't go back up this way, why funnel yourself down into here to be able to just... This goes for even 5v5 or 6v6. Like, this is general advice. Like, avoid going to this spot unless, like, there's a team strategy here that I don't know. Or... Like, yeah, just that's it. But basically, you want to stay up here. You control this health pack. If no one's here, you rotate this way. You shoot at them this way. They look at you. It helps your teammates that way. And then if they don't look at you, you just keep rotating and then keep doing that. And then you just keep maintaining health packs. Only thing to pay attention for is if your team gets a pick, just be wary that they could rotate behind you. So you got to kind of rotate and maneuver around the map in that way more than anything else. But that's just something to look into in the future. So, yeah. All right, there it is. Yeah, I was gonna say Emre pistol and a nade can get up there. Yeah, so like, again, even then, like, I would say just maintain that other part of the map first before dropping down there. Unless, you know, obviously, of course, in like certain situations. But, yeah. Look for the Reaper. Reaper's gone, so you don't have to chase that. Again, taking the angle. This is good. Couldn't really hit the Hinda there, but you can go for the right clicks. Yeah, you know, the correct play. A little bit of a note, though, don't get too distracted by a wrecking ball. Once the wrecking ball rotates out of there, at least don't do it. Don't drop. You have a health pack to your right. You don't need to. All right. Yep. You're doing the thing where, like, once you take pressure there, you're going, okay, I'm going to prioritize staying alive, which I agree is, like, a good mindset to get into of, like, staying alive there. But at the same time, you have to recognize where the health pack is, and that health pack above you is going to basically give you an extra couple of shots against that Sojourn. And based off of how your aim has been, I take the odds that you're going to actually win that team fight, no problem. So, no, I think they're going to be in a pretty solid rank here. Again, I just can't figure out which one of that's going to be yet, because we don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Here we go. Huge high noon. Okay. This is first time you went the other way, which is nice. I mean, obviously it was by circumstance because of what's going on this map. Okay. I said, the aim is solid, so that's not my issue. Don't you do it. I don't mind the hinder on the Reaper, but don't you go to that spot again. Don't dare do it. Now there's going to be a Lucio, so be careful. You could get booped. Hog to your left. Uh-oh. Oh, no, chat. They're back. Don't drop down. Don't drop down yet. Just, yes. Okay, this is... I mean, I said not to drop down there, and you didn't, so I can't be mad. Shot. Good Hinda. Nice shot again. Big slam. Uh-oh, you're back again. See, this is like, this is going to be something you're going to look at and you're going to go, I mean, you kind of already did, technically, because you called it the Forbidden Room. But, like, I just want to, again, kind of point out to you that some of these plays that you're making here are a little bit... you don't need to make this play. Like, if the Roadhog is going to go into that small room, why rotate yourself into that small room with the Roadhog when you can kind of just play in the middle and not really have to worry about that, right? So I feel like you just keep ending up in that spot when you don't have to, and it's basically just giving them free kills on you, right? Like, and keep in mind, I can also speak from experience. I just did this in a ranked game last week in 6v6, and I said, yeah, I'm never doing that. Like, I keep going to this room. I don't know why, and I understand why you're rotating there. I'm just saying, like, occasionally, fine. Go in there every single time. You're just basically asking to get isolated into 1v1. And, like, yes, your aim is there, but, like, you're not going to win a lot of 1v1s against a Roadhog in that room if the Roadhog knows how to hit their heal button and isn't, like, anti-grenade. So, but I think you know that because you mentioned it in the submission, so... Let's see what you do on this map, where it's a little bit more, like, good positioning can carry you here. Let's see what happens. Yep. I'm going to start suggesting this a little bit more during my VODs that I watch, because I feel like we're at a point now where, like, this next step is good. If you're going to, like, try to take that high ground really quickly against the Lucio comp, because you know they're running the Lucio in the previous round and you don't have one, it becomes extremely important for one of the DPS players or any player on the team to go Symmetra and teleport your team aggressively. It doesn't have to be you, but if nobody's going to do it, just go Symmetra, teleport your teammate top left, and then swap back. Yes, you're going to be late to the team fight, but, like, your team's going to have more room to work with, and when your team has more room to work with, at that point, you can take advantage of that. I feel like anybody who is willing to go Symmetra on control maps, it gives your team such an early advantage on these first team fights, which can then basically just carry you the rest of the way. Like, I'm not even joking. So, as a DPS player, and it's something that I, even myself, who, you know, my worst role, I'm starting to do it a little bit more now. Because it's so worth just getting that extra, like, that extra 2 seconds you get of just being there before them. It just basically can make break fights. So, anyway, Little bit of a note there. If nobody does it, don't be afraid to just do that. Because then, like, yeah, your team will have the advantage. Okay. Good shots. You went through the kitchen rotation, which was nice. You see that they're over there, so you could push to the point. A little bit of an ambitious hinder. Okay, not bad. I would have rotated back to the high ground during this time. I want you to think about if they get all the map control around you, you want to, it's like you're basically just stuck in a room again, right? Like now you have a high noon. Wouldn't it have been nice to be on their rotation, catch them on the rotation here rather than be in this like close range battle? Like, yeah, it's kind of like working still, but I feel like, you know, I feel like a half of this has been just the way they rotate. Thankfully you get a free kill on a Sojourn. But like, I just feel like your rotation has put you into such a weird spot that you have to rely so purely on that aim. And don't get me wrong, you made some kills happen, but why not go for a rotate? Why not just go back up on the high ground? You know, I'm always looking for an opportunity to rotate back up if the timing is there, and you had that timing. So I want you to think about that next step. I talk about it all the time. In team fights, you need to, once a team fight's over, that isn't the time to just sit there. That's the time to go set up for the next team fight and prepare yourself for the next one. Sometimes people will win a team fight and I'll just stand there and wait for the next one. Get to the good spots. Okay. Falls low. Zombie Kitty, thank you for the 3 months of the Prime. So thank you for it early. Yeah, I want to watch the matches today. Not bad. Okay, yep. All right. I mean, nothing's happening. I can't really. You stayed high ground. Be careful of getting hooked by Hog. Nope, don't have to worry about that now. You're good. I don't mind the aggression now that they don't have the Roadhog. You have to watch out for a Blade, but like they're one shot to begin with. Nice shot by your Juno. Yeah, should be a pretty clean team fight here, I think. Nope, there you go. Cool. All right. Will you have a good attack now? Let's find out. Okay, here we go. Again, I do like your starting positionings. I feel like you're doing a really good job of understanding that, so no issues there. Like, you know that you need to go to these spots early rather than run it down middle, and that's already a good start. But I do find that you end up giving up those spots pretty quickly. Granted, I mean, I don't know. Just wanted to get closer to your team. Careful of turning your back sometimes in those situations. Granted, it was fine, but more to you two. I'm watching. Okay, yeah, I mean, listen, one thing that you're doing, by the way, and it's gonna be funny because I'm talking about how much I like that you're positioning yourself correctly. I feel like that you don't know when to get aggressive with your teammates. As in, like, you know to go to the spots, and we saw this actually during your Quickplay version too. And you know to go to the spots, but then you either A, give up your spot too easily, and then you end up just running around in like circles, or B, your teammates get aggressive and you play super passive, and while, yeah, you're in a safe spot, you're not able to follow up on anything, right? It's almost like you're kind of holding an angle and like that's it. So you gotta be careful of that. Malenko, thank you for the Prime sub, thank you, and Fee, thank you for the tier 1. Thanks, everybody. Or Pie. Genji behind you. Yeah, you're doing the same thing, and this is something that's easily fixable, by the way. If I wanted to point this out, like this is an easily fixable strategy out of you. Just to reiterate that, I do think you'll be in a good spot. So basically, I want you to start thinking about first step, getting to your spots. Okay, I'm not going to take that away from you. The next step is my teammate being is my team being aggressive? Well, I need to be more involved in these team fights, right? I need to find a way to be kind of in a mid-range spot that's helpful for my team that also isn't basically nerfing me away from everything else on their team. Like, as in, like, don't give them, like, don't basically put your team into a 5v6 when it could be a 6v6, right? What rank is this? I'm going to be guessing the rank after. Stat line, I always forget to look at the stats because it's, like, still kind of new to me. I mean, everything seems fine death count wise. You know, obviously you would like it a little bit lower than that, but like This is a 3rd round control. So remember, go to get set up to your spots. So your spot is going to be looking for a Wrecking Ball. Remember, you can't, I mean, most people know this, but the shield on the Wrecking Ball perk is the equivalent of a Zarya bubble. Not from a charge point of view, but from a, just can't CC him during it. So most people know that, but there's some returning players, so why not just give any information, you know? Yeah. Good job there. Again, what you did right there was, and what you could have done better of, you didn't all stack as 6 with your team, but you stayed with your team in the sense of like, you were at an angle where they could help you, and then as your team pushed up, you pushed up. Only problem that I did see is that you strayed away a little bit too far away at one point where it kind of, a mistake by them also made it easier on your team, but that's Overwatch. I mean, that's just, I don't even have to like bring that part up, but why not? Are we later early? Anytime I'm on at this time of the day, just think of it as bonus time on top of what we normally do. There it is. Good picks. Nice shots on the Ana. Aim's good. Again, yes, I like this. See, this is what I mean. Now you're pushing up with your Roadhog. Now, it's not just they have to go for the Roadhog, they have to look at you, right? When you let your Roadhog go up there by himself and you don't play too aggro, that's what happens. Now you want to back away. Did you hear the Genji to your left? The Roadhog gets the kill, so now you're fine. Good health pack awareness. Yeah, should be good. Get the kill. And should be good. Pop a high noon just to kind of clear some space. Look for the Roadhog. Just shoot at them when you see them. Easy. Unless something crazy happens here, you should win this. And that should be it. And shots. Good job. So yeah, this is a tough one. So one, like, I just want to point out to you, the aim's looking good actually. So like, I'm not worried about your mechanics on that side. Even your movement was fine. But you do need to start really looking into like how you rotate. And I think I kind of made that clear of like, sometimes you play a little bit too safe. Sometimes you drop early. Hold your spots better. If you have a health pack, hold that spot, you know, an extra second longer, an extra 2 seconds longer. Rotate as your team rotates. Don't end up falling back and playing really safe. Because if you play too safe, then sometimes your teammates are at a disadvantage, right? If your teammates are playing aggro and they control a lot of the map, you don't need to control that part of the high ground. You can rotate back to it when your team resets. So just always want to reiterate that part. But yeah, I'm actually going to stay exactly where I am with this one. I'm actually going to stick with like that Diamond 2 range. Now, is there a chance you're in Masters or higher? Yes, I actually think there's a higher chance in that one. But just watching the way that game went, the rotations, how it all played out, I just feel like there's probably games you lose purely because of those rotations. Mainly because sometimes you just kind of nerf yourself. And that happens in Overwatch in general. I mean, I probably nerfed myself on D.Va for like 6 months when I wasn't backline pressuring as much as I do now, right? So, yeah, I think I'm actually pretty content with, let's say, you're in that range. And the rank is in 6v6, believe it or not, Masters 2. So there you go. Higher, remember what I said, probably could be higher. So higher in 6v6, higher than I thought. Honestly, for not playing much rank, that was great. Honestly, like if you needed the confidence of like just like knowing that your aim was good for that, I would say that your aim was good and that your aim was going to be able to carry you in a lot of team fights. Now, if you can pick up that positioning and you wanted to play more ranked, I think you will climb. So good job though. Honestly, excellent play. Aim's looking good. Work on those rotations, and I think you're gonna, if you so choose, I think you can see a climb in ranked. All right, you got this. You absolutely got this. You like the video? Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't, leave a comment. All that helps. You want to submit your own videos? My Discord's where to do that. And if you want to watch more of these Quickplay Warrior videos, where I think this is like episode like number 10 or something, or if not more, we got more right here. It's going to pop up on the bottom over here on the side. Give it a look. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day /night.